Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. Today we are ranking every single Rainbow Six Siege defender, including the brand new one, Tuberal. We're also going to be ranking operators based on their changes. We know that Mira is getting a major nerf. We know that Maestro's getting a buff, and there's a whole lot of other changes as well going on. Before we jump into it, let's just chuck these ones at the start that we're going to talk about, because I want to talk about these people first, and I'm sure you guys want to hear about them first. So let's start off with the new operator themselves, Tuberal. I mean, I'm loving the concept of this operator. We're gonna have to wait and see how they settle into the whole meta of Siege next season, but overall I do like the concept of this operator. I like the design of the operator. I think he's going to be a comfortable A-tier operator next season. Obviously, he can counter the likes of hard breaches, or at least slow them down and give your team time to react. It's going to help and synergize quite well with the likes of Kaid, Bandit, but you do have to remember, this new operator's gadget also disables / delays defender gadgets like C4s. If you throw a C4 and it lands in this dude's sphere of ice, you will not be able to detonate it. Overall, we'll have to just wait and see how impactful he's actually going to be. But moving on from the new operator, we now have Mira, and Mira is another one that's getting a major nerf. Callie and Ash are going to be able to destroy her Mira window from the other side of the wall and from a distance starting next season. It's a major new counter to Mira. I think before, Mira was easily A tier pushing on S tier. I think this cements the fact that she is still going to be an A tier operator, but you do now have that option of, if you know they're going to have a Mira, especially during the drone phase and stuff, you can switch out to an Ash, you can switch out to a Callie to counter her specifically, and that's going to be a major negative starting next season. The next operator getting a major change is the likes of Maestro. He's going to be getting an extra camera starting next season. The battery life is increasing, and on top of that, your cameras aren't going to overheat as quickly. So overall, just a lot more intel for the defensive team. I would say he was bounding in around this area, maybe a high C, low B op. I think this solidifies his place in B. I think this could actually push him even higher than this, but I don't want to be too over optimistic. He could easily be an A-tier operator starting next season, but we're just going to have to wait and see. Now, as I said earlier in the video, the new operator is going to synergize quite well with Kaid and Bandit, allowing you to Kaid and Bandit trick a lot easier. In a way, it is going to make those operators better. I do think Kaid and Bandit are still both S-tier operators. Kaid has more utility than Bandit and slightly better gadget, but Bandit definitely has the better loadout and comes equipped with the MP7. Next up, we have Alibi, just an interesting operator, honestly. I mean, she has a great loadout, but the gadget ain't all too great or useful. I still think it should match the skin that you have applied to actually trick the attackers more often. I'm going to put her in B tier. As I said, if you're good at fragging out and good with her weapon, she can easily be higher than this. Aruni, I think I'm going to stick in A tier. I do like playing Aruni personally. She can be very good on specific bomb sites and stuff like that. Just a great operator to have, to be honest, and DMRs are a lot better than a lot of people think, so if you don't use DMRs, give them a go. Next up though, we have Aami, easily one of the best defenders, in Rainbow Six Siege. So versatile, can create amazing angles, can deny angles from the attacking team. Honestly, Aami is just one of the best operators, and I feel like she could remain like that for quite a long time until Ubisoft decide to nerf her or rework her in some way, shape or form. Next up though, we have Castle, another operator that I do personally like playing quite a lot. I'm going to stick him in A tier. He can be a negative to the defending team if you put a castle barricade in the wrong place, but if you know how to play him, he can be such a good operator, and the UMP is such a good weapon. I know it doesn't deal a lot of damage, doesn't have great fire rate, but it is a very consistent low recoil weapon, so I personally like using that. Kavira, I think I'm going to stick in C tier. She is very situational. Some rounds she can be an S tier operator, win you the round on her own, but I think most times out of 10, she's not too great, so I'm just going to put a low down. Clash, I think I'm going to put her in C tier. She can be a B tier operator. I mean, she does her job very well, and I think that's what a lot of people misunderstand about Clash. Her whole purpose is to delay, which she does perfectly, and just kind of like get in the way of the attackers, and that is what she does. But that is why a lot of people hate her, because it's just such an annoying playstyle to play as Clash. But she does do her job very well, and I do think she has a place in Siege. And I don't think she needs a rework like a lot of people a saying. Doc, easy A tier operator's got the MP5, can heal, can over stim as well, and not only that, his stims also heal you up to max HP now. Doc is just one of my favorite operators in the game as well, defensive wise. I've just liked playing Doc the whole time he's been in the game. Echo, probably also another A tier operator. If used right and used by the correct people and on certain maps, can easily be an S tier operator, but I'm going to stick him in A tier just for the overall for him. Ella, I think I'm going to put in B tier. She's a bit hit or miss for me. Whenever I do play Ella, sometimes I'm like not hitting my shots with the SMG. It feels super inconsistent. It's got a lot of horizontal recoil, but if you can control that and you can use her gadget to its full ability, she can be quite good. So I think B tier is quite fair. Fenri, such a strong operator. I mean, I haven't played too much last season, so I don't know if he's got any better or worse than he is. I know he's been banned in a lot of the games. I think he could also deserve the S tier ranking. He is just one of those better operators in general, and the fact that he can give intel to your team while also acting as kind of like a trap operator at the same time is very, very strong, and he has a good loadout to accompany that. Frost, I'm going to put in B tier. I do think the rework was kind of a nerf, and honestly I just don't like the change that they made to her, but the loadout's still the same, still a decent SMG, very, very low recoil, and still quite a good operator for you beginners. Goyo, I think could be a B tier, edging on A tier. I think the higher rank you go, I think Goyo has quite a steep like learning curve, you know what I mean? Like, if you know the best spots for this gadget and how to use it, when to activate it, he can be round winning, kind of similar to the likes of Smoke, but I do think Smoke is an easier operator to do this with, so I am going to bump him up to an A tier. Me personally, I don't play Smoke very well, otherwise he could be an S tier operator, but from my personal experience, Smoke is an A tier. Jaeger, I think, does deserve S tier just for his gadget alone. If you put him in A tier, I'm not going to be mad at you, because his weapon, his loadout over the years has been nerfed into the ground, but Jaeger as an operator and his gadget is always going to be useful in Siege. I say this every time I rank all the defenders. He's always going to be a useful addition to your team, and you can just put down his gadget and forget about it for the rest of the round, and that is just something that a lot of these other operators don't have. You kind of have to focus and time when you use the gadget correctly. The next operator here is Capcan, and I really want to put Capcan in S tier. I actually think he might be my #1 defender. He's probably my most playtime defender, and he's just so easy to play. You get free kills, you just deal free damage to the attacking team, and if you get some good Capcan spots, which I've made videos on this channel already, he can be a very good operator. But once again, similar to Jaeger, if you want to put him in A tier, I won't get mad at you, but I just love playing Capcan. Legion, this is an interesting one, because on the win-loss, win-deltas chart, I'll show it up on screen here, he's actually one of the most picked operators, and he actually has a positive win-loss as well. So with that 1.5 times scope that he's got last season, it has definitely impacted his pick rate and win rate, and obviously he got a rework to his gadget last season as well. I do think he is an A tier operator, another one of those that could potentially become an S tier depending on tweaks to other operators and stuff like that, but he is still one of the better defensive operators for next season. Melusi, not too useful. I'm going to put her in B tier, but she is edging on dropping close to C. In fact, I do kind of want to put her in C tier, just for the fact that I need to kind of bulk up the bottom of this list. So if you want to put her in B, once again, not going to be mad. I need to stop saying that though. But next up we have Mozzy. I kind of want to put Mozzy S tier, but I am going to put him right at the top of A tier. He is a very, very good operator, can obviously deny intel for the attacking team and give the defensive team intel. Just a great operator in general, and a great loadout to accompany that. Mute, I think, also deserves S tier, A tier, sorry. You can't see the operators here anymore, so I'm sorry about that, but I do think he deserves A tier though. Oryx, I'm going to put B tier. I know they buffed his passive of being able to jump up through hatches, but not that great of an operator still. He is good for roaming. If you play him well, he can be a good operator, but just in general, he's not really one of the ones you want to pick first, you know what I mean? Pulse, I kind of want to put Pulse in A tier as well. A lot of these operators are going in A tier, and this may seem a little bit biased or whatever, but I think the defensive team is very balanced. I think almost all the operators on the defensive team are viable. So there's only a few like in the C tier bracket that I'd say you kind of want to avoid playing in majority of your matches, but once again, they are still situational and can still be a good addition to the team. With that being said, then next up we have Rook. Rook is an operator that I like, and another operator I'm going to put in A tier. I think he deserves it. He gives everyone just a base HP increase. They're going to be able to tank a few more bullets, and that could be the difference between winning and losing a round. Next up then we have Solace, another one where the gadget can be insanely strong. I think if you put her anywhere lower than an A tier, you're not doing her justice. I think she does deserve to be high up in this list. With a better loadout, personally I don't like the P90. If she had a different weapon, I think she could be an S tier operator, but the way that she currently works, the fact she has a P90 as her only really good primary option, I think she belongs in A tier. Tanka is another operator that I'm going to put in C tier. Now, it pains me to say because I do like Tanka. Back in the day before he got his new gadget, he was kind of like a meme, right? But since he got this new gadget, it is a very high skill kind of gadget to use. It's kind of hard to get your fire placements in the correct spots. I kind of wish you could have the option to choose how many bounces your Tanka stuff will have before the fire sets off, if you know what I mean. So you can set it as just like an impact fire kind of thing, but I don't know, that might be too strong, so we'll have to just wait that one out. Next up though we have Thorn. I think Thorn's a B tier operator. She did get the 1.5 a few seasons ago. I don't know if she still has it actually, but her gadget is not that great. I mean, you can get a few free kills with it, but it is very easy to avoid from an attacking point of view. Thunderbird I think also belongs in B tier. If you're gonna go for an operator that can heal and support your team, I think Doc is just a better option all around, and in fact I'd say Rook is probably a better option as well. They also have better loadout options on top of that. Valkyrie, I'm going to put in S tier just for the fact that she can just give your team the best intel. She can hide her cameras in insane spots, and if you know where to put them and where those spots are on certain maps, you can dominate and get free intel and free kills. Next up we have Vigil. It pains me to say because I used to be a Vigil main, but he's definitely fallen off over the years and there's definitely not as much of a need for a Vigil. But with that being said, I think I'm going to put him in B tier. He does still have a very nice weapon. I like using the K1A, a very good SMG. It might be an AR, but I think it's an SMG, just a decent weapon and loadout. And then the final two operators we have is Wai and Warden. Wai kind of is like an alternative to Jaeger. He's always going to be useful. Alternate between the two. They are both decent operators. And Warden, I'm going to put him in A tier as well. His gadget is pretty useless and very situational, I'm going to be honest, but he has the 1.5 in the MPX. It is such a good weapon and he's so good for fragging out. I know he's a 1 speed now, but I still think he is a good option for the defensive team. But that is my finished list. Let me know where you agree and disagree down in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you all. Click the video on screen and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.